Sorry it's been so long since the last time I uploaded. There was a lot of stuff at the end of the summer that kind of snuck up on me. I was wrapping up an internship and then all this stuff with getting ready for senior year of college, just and getting my sister ready for her freshman year of college off on the other side of the state. Like a whole lot of stuff's been going on. I've also just been sort of in this like trying to figure out what I wanted to do next with this channel. But I do think now that I have finally settled on a really solid long-term project going forward for the next little while. So stick around to hear about that. But until then, I was looking through like things to talk about to sort of bridge the gap between these last couple more Star Wars related videos into what I want to talk about. And I realized that while I did rank all of the mainline Star Wars movies, you know, like the 9 episodes, Solo, Clone Wars movie, Rogue One, all that, there is a Star Wars movie that I have neglected. And it's because until about a week ago, I had never watched it before. And you've seen the title of the video, you've seen the thumbnail, you know what I'm talking about. The holiday special. No, we're not doing the Ewok movies ever. No, gross. Maybe sometime down the line, if I'm really bored and you want to see me suffer further, sure. But we're talking about the holiday special. Probably the most universally disliked Star Wars thing ever. Like this, we have the Star Wars fandom has to be one of the most divided fandoms I've ever seen. Like prequel fans and original trilogy fans fighting over here, and then prequel fans and sequel fans, and prequel original trilogy fans fighting the sequel fans, and original trilogy fans and sequel fans fighting the prequel fans, and then you throw in the shows into the mix, and it's a complete mess. And yet the one thing that everyone can agree on is that this thing never happened. It is a fever dream from 1978 that some people had, and we are all just collectively denying its existence. And yet, despite all that, it's never gone away. Despite the fact that George Lucas himself said if he had the time and a sledgehammer, he would destroy every copy of this thing. It has never died. It is readily available right here on YouTube, which is where I found it and where I watched it. Fully uploaded, has not been copyright stricken by Disney, which I saw a comment on the video saying like they haven't stricken it down because that would mean admitting they own it. I don't think that's the reason why, because they've made Rise of Skywalker. But okay. I had to get one jab in there, move on. So, having now watched it, hearing all of these things about it, hearing about its infamy, what are my thoughts? Well, it's not good, right? Like, this video is not going to be my big steaming hot take where I lose all of my credibility and internet points forever by being like the sole crusader of this dumpster fire. No, it's bad. It's very bad. If George Lucas, who never apologized for anything he did, George Lucas, who insisted, no, Jedi Rock needs to be in Return of the Jedi because I want it there. If George Lucas wants this thing gone, there's a pretty good reason. It's not good. But in a weird way, it was almost like not completely terrible. Like, let me explain. So, like, first of all, I think going into it, knowing things about, like, I think part of the problem was it was just a TV special around holiday time. It was actually around Thanksgiving. That's a misconception people have. It wasn't around Christmas. It was more around, like, November, It was more of a general holiday kind of thing, which is why they're able to like get away with inventing Life Day in it, because it was more of just a general holiday special. But going into it, people were expecting like a typical Star Wars adventure, like A New Hope was still fresh in everyone's minds. They were expecting like, okay, some big, expansive, fun adventure in the Star Wars universe, and it teases that with the overarching storyline with like Han and Chewie um, running around trying to get away from the Imperials and stuff. But that's really set dressing for what is basically just a variety show. That's what the holiday special is. And so I think part of it is that people were going in expecting a Star Wars thing because that was on the title, and when they got all of this weird nonsense instead, that really threw them for a curveball, which, understandable because it says Star Wars. You came in expecting Star Wars, so what in the world is this? But again, I think knowing going into it, this is not a real Star Wars thing. It's just going to be this weird variety show. Like setting your expectations lower a bit does help you to process it. So yeah, going into the actual thing, okay, first of all, let's just get the story out of the way. The story is nonsense. It's it's held together by toothpicks, and that's being generous. Like, it's just, oh, Han and Chewie are evading the Imperials for Chewie to get to his family so they can celebrate Life Day, and like the Imperials are scouring the whole galaxy for them, and then we just keep cutting away from that plot to Wookiee watching this one show, and then other Wookiee watching this other show as they wait for Chewie and Han to get there. And then it becomes, oh no, the Imperials have shown up and are threatening the Wookiees, but let's distract the Wookiee kid with this other show for a bit. Like, it goes on like this forever. The plot it's pointless. It's all it's really trying to do is like be the bridge between each thing so things don't feel as random. But the end result is the plot is complete nonsense, and people have made fun of it endlessly. I'm not going to get into it. The Imperials in this movie are incredibly incompetent. The entire Life Day premise is bizarre and bonkers and bad. Yeah. So let's get into the actual meat of this, which is the variety show aspect. And if I'm going to be honest, watching roughly the first half or so of this special, I could definitely see what the problem was. Because most of the stuff in the first half is very, very weird. You have this really weird thing where the kid Wookiee, whose name I'm forgetting, I don't remember that's how you know this is bad, because I'm not remembering the names of the characters in a Star Wars production. But like, you have the kid Wookiee looking at this like weird, like small hologram with this like really bizarre dancing number that feels like it goes on for an eternity. No dialogue, just music and dancing, and it just drags, and I'm just like, what am I looking at? And then it just ends. And then you have like the very infamous the cooking show, where they don't even remotely teach you how to cook, so I don't know why it's in the special, but it did give us the iconic, stir whip. And then you have the probably the most infamous part of this whole thing, which is the VR thing that Chewie's dad watches. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to do all of the funny haha jokes people make about it, because I'm wanting this to be a family friendly channel. I'm not going to go there. It's, we're moving past it. That part is definitely the worst part of the special by a country mile. It's really out there, by that point, I was starting to question my sanity a bit. What am I watching? Why am I doing this? But then going into the second half, I do think the insanity calmed down a bit. It still wasn't like quite good, but I think most of the really infamous stuff that people want to talk about with this special is front loaded in that first half, and so it leaves you walking away thinking about all of that stuff. But when you peel all that back and then you get to the second half, things do become a bit more manageable and a bit more tolerable. Like there's like the last big three events here are honestly not that bad. You have this music video by the band Jefferson Starship, which, two things. One, the fact that they got a band called Starship is actually mildly clever and cute, so that's fun. And two, the music video itself, honestly, decent. Like, good music, good vocals. I mean, the visuals were, because this was an old recording from the 70s off of someone's TV, so I can't really say how well the visuals hold up. The quality on the recording was not perfect, but I mean, it seemed fine. And then you have the one thing that just about anybody who watches this special will, like, if they defend anything, they'll defend this. You have the cartoon that they made with, like, Luke and Han and 3PO and R2, and like the franchise debut of Boba Fett, who like, I don't remember who voices him in this. I'll have to look it up later. Maybe I'll add it in post, or someone could tell me in the comments. I don't know, but whoever did Boba Fett in this honestly nailed it. Like, very serious, very like threatening. Like, well done on the voice acting. But if I'm honest, like, I was kind of expecting a little more from the way everyone hypes this thing up as like the one tolerable part of the holiday special. It just kind of comes and goes, and it ends right when it was getting mildly interesting. Still, I mean, again, it's in the holiday special and you're not hating yourself, so like, props. And also, it means I get to bully Boba Fett forever because I get to tell him, you're in the holiday special, and I think Boba Fett's an overrated character, so that is a very funny thing that I can use against him. Cad Bane is better. Anyway. And then lastly, we have the Cantina segment, which is probably if I remember right, I feel like this was the longest. It definitely felt like the longest segment out of any of them, because it goes on for a while. With I think her name was Bea Arthur is the woman like running the cantina. Now, was she running the cantina in A New Hope? Absolutely not. But any continuity and logic went out the window in this movie eons ago. Like, Luke Skywalker would never have that haircut in a million years. Just, again, don't go into this expecting it to follow continuity or logic or sanity. Just go in knowing what you're getting. But anyway, this last segment, the musical number wasn't good, but Bea Arthur does at least try to sell it. Like, she does actually do a good acting performance throughout the scene, and she like does have good singing here and there. And also, at certain parts towards the beginning, before like the musical number breaks out, you do get to hear like the actual Cantina theme, which is a nice little, oasis in this. Like, oh, actual Star Wars. like the Cantina theme and the debut of Boba Fett. Those are your like reminders that this is a Star Wars production in the middle of this. But yeah, honestly, again, like, first half, totally insane. All of the stuff you've heard, absolutely bonkers. But the second half, not great, not amazing, but it's like, it's watchable. It's like, and again, like the Jefferson Starship thing, genuinely alright. The cartoon doesn't really do a whole lot, but it introduces Boba Fett, I guess, cool, and good voice acting, and then Cantina. We like the Cantina, I guess. And then, of course, we get to the ending, which everyone's made fun of because they have Carrie Fisher do a song, and it's very obvious that Harrison Ford does not want to be here. As middle of the song, it cuts over to him, and he just has this like dead look in his eyes, like, what am I doing here? What mistake did I make in my life to lead me to where I am now trapped in this? Can I please leave? George, can you please can we stop the recording? Can I please I just want to go home. It's that part was the one part of the special that legitimately made me laugh out loud. That just the way like we see like we cut from Leia singing her heart out, like so happy and everything, to just this. He's not even acting. He's not even trying to pretend to sell this. He's just like, ugh. Why? Like, I burst out laughing when I saw his expression. It's gold. But and then it just ends, and yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to add. I guess if I had to add anything else, it's really weird that they like inserted Vader for like 30 seconds using like unused A New Hope footage and then just changed the dialogue. It's like, yeah, we had to remind you Vader was in this, but he doesn't do anything. Just, I don't know. So, holiday special. It's not good. I'm not going to defend it. I am not going to say it is some hidden gem, but I don't think it's quite the unwatchable catastrophe that people say it is. There are legitimately some brief moments of decency in here, and even when it's bad, it's a much more charming kind of bad. When I did my ranking of the movies a while back, I really dug into the sequels, and I stand by that. I don't like the sequels at all. And honestly, looking at the holiday special versus the sequels, while I'm definitely going to say production-wise, the sequels, vastly superior on like production and like writing, but if I'm honest, these frustrate me with their badness a lot more for two reasons. One, because their kind of badness is based on the mandates of a corporation, where the holiday special was more just like, I don't know, I can't really explain it. It just feels like more of an authentic human kind of bad. Like, people in this were doing their best, but it just was a train wreck. And there's something about that that's a lot more admirable and a lot more easy to have a fun time with, compared to just how frustrating these over here are, because Disney just did not care and did not plan it out. And again, if you like the sequels, you can like the sequels. This is just my opinion. Second thing is the holiday special, for however bad it might be, it doesn't ruin Star Wars. It's an embarrassment that it's attached to Star Wars, for sure. And again, George wanted it destroyed for that reason. But in the grand scheme of the actual story of Star Wars, it doesn't really matter. It's just this weird, quirky little spinoff that you can just laugh at and like toss aside once you're done with it. Whereas with the sequels, they are meant to be part of the main story. And so when they mess the story up and they take beloved characters and wreck them in front of me, I'm a lot angrier about that. Like, yeah, that's about it. So, final score. You're bad, but you're kind of a charming kind of bad. So, 3 out of 10, I guess. I'm probably not going to watch you again. But I do think if you're a true Star Wars fan and you want to, like, really dig into every part of this franchise. It's worth seeing at least once, just to have the experience that everyone else has had. So, moving forward, what's the big plan moving forward with this channel? Well, I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about the kind of videos that I like to make, the kind of videos I want to make, and the ones that I've been having the most fun with are these last few where I've really been getting analytical and like diving into things that I enjoy talking about and doing things with like again, I want this to be a fun, like, I'm a Christian, and so I want this to be like a fun, like, family friendly place where I can just talk about things and we can have a good time. And so I've thought about, like, what else is there out there that I really like, that I can really talk about for a long time. So I have assembled a comprehensive list of every single movie made by Walt Disney Animation Studios, from Snow White all the way to Moana 2 in I put the list in chronological order. I have this wheel set up, and you'll see it in a minute, where I put them all in chronological order. And to keep this interesting, I am going to spin that wheel at the end of each new video that I make to show which one I'm gonna review next. We're going to do like a specific review video like this one for every single one of those movies in a completely random order, so that I'm not like bogged down in like the 40s movies that no one's heard about for forever. Like, we'll cover them, but I figured if I have to do like all of those in rapid succession, it'll really drain me, and it might drain you. I don't want to get caught down in any one era that's not as coherent or anything, but I will go ahead and say there are going to be 2 exceptions to this on the list. One, we have The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I am leaving that off the list on purpose because, not because I'm not going to cover it, but because we're getting really close to October, and the Ichabod half is, like the famous legend of Sleepy Hollow with the Headless Horseman. So I figured I want that video to be timed for like in the month of October for Halloween and all of that. And the other one, this is a more personal thing, and if this upsets you, what I'm about to say, I get it. This is just my personal beliefs. I am not going to be covering Strange World. And the reason I say that is, again, this is my channel. I am a Christian. I've been a Christian my entire life, and the stuff that is in Strange World, I'm not going to say it out loud, but you probably know. If you don't know, then you can look it up or ask somebody, and if you do know, then you know. There is something in Strange World that I do not support, and I am not wanting to spread hate. I am not wanting to denounce anybody. I am just personally, as a Christian, expressing my view on the world. It's something that I personally do not support. You are free to support it if you like. This is just my personal belief, and because of that personal belief, I am not going to watch Strange World, because I am not going to do something that promotes that. So yeah, again, I don't want to focus on that. I want this to be a safe, fun, happy channel for you to just come and have fun with me. So I'm just laying that card out on the table, and if you want to leave after I've said that, if you want to walk away, I get it. So let's get over to the wheel.
So as you can see, we have all of the movies on this wheel here, except, like I said before, I'm leaving off Strange World for my personal reasons, and again, you don't have to agree with them. And I'm also leaving off Ichabod and Toad because I want to save that for October specifically. But other than that, we have 61 movies all right here, and we're just going to spin the wheel and see what happens. Winnie the Pooh 2011 it is. Excellent.